You are standing in the dark. Not sunset dark. Not bedroom dark. The kind of dark where every bush has teeth. A branch cracks somewhere beyond the trees, and your whole body freezes before your mind even knows why. Your eyes search the black grass. Your ears stretch into the night. Your stomach is empty, your skin is cold, and somewhere out there another animal is awake. Then something orange moves in front of you. A flame. Small, shaking, alive. For most animals, fire is danger. It burns fur. It destroys nests. It turns forests into ash. But for your ancient ancestors, fire slowly became something else. A tool, a shield, a kitchen, a social world. And maybe one of the reasons your brain became the brain that is listening to this sentence right now. But here's the strange part. Homo erectus probably did not begin by inventing fire like a genius striking sparks in a cave. Your ancestor may have begun by stealing it. Imagine a lightning storm over an ancient savanna. Dry grass catches. Flames crawl across the land. Animals run. Smoke climbs into the sky. When the fire dies down, the ground is warm, the predators are gone, and the landscape is covered with roasted insects, cooked tubers, and dead animals that are suddenly easier to eat. Would you run from that, or would you come closer? This may have been the first step, not control, curiosity. Homo erectus means upright human. It was an early human ancestor, with long legs, a more modern body shape, and a brain larger than earlier ape-like ancestors. Homo erectus appeared around 2 million years ago and spread farther than any human ancestor before it. Across Africa and Eurasia, this species learned to survive in open landscapes, new climates, and dangerous nights. But surviving the day was only half the problem. Night was the real border. Before fire, night belonged to other animals, big cats, hyenas, leopards, snakes, teeth that could see better than you, smell better than you, move silently while your eyes failed. So picture a small group of Homo erectus near a cave entrance. They do not have words like yours. They do not have houses. They do not have metal farming blankets, lamps, or doors. But they have something glowing in a protected hollow of ash. Someone feeds it dry grass. Someone adds a branch. Someone watches the edge of the darkness. And suddenly the night is smaller. What changed first? Probably safety. Fire creates a circle. Inside the circle, bodies relax. Outside the circle, eyes shine and hesitate. A flame does not make humans invincible, but it changes the negotiation. Predators that would easily approach sleeping bodies may pause when smoke, heat, and moving light fill the air. That pause matters. A single pause can mean another child survives. Another elder wakes up. Another morning begins. Warmth mattered too. Homo erectus spread into places where the night could bite into skin. Even in warm landscapes, temperatures drop after sunset. Fire turned a cold shelter into a livable place. It let your ancestors stay awake after dark instead of collapsing into fear and sleep. But the biggest change may have happened inside the body, not outside, inside. Think about raw meat. It is tough. It resists your teeth. It takes effort to tear, chew, swallow, and digest. Raw roots and tubers can be fibrous and hard. Seeds can pass through the gut without giving up all their energy. Your body can eat raw food, but raw food makes your body work. Cooking changes that. Heat softens plant fibers. It breaks down starches, which are stored plant sugars. It denatures proteins, which means it unfolds their structure so digestive enzymes can attack them more easily. It kills some parasites and bacteria. It turns a difficult meal into a richer meal. In plain English, cooking starts digestion before the food reaches your mouth. That matters because digestion is expensive. Your gut is not just a tube. It is living tissue. It uses energy. A large gut helps an animal break down tough raw food, but maintaining that gut costs calories every day. Your brain is even more expensive. Even at rest, your brain burns a huge share of your body's energy. It is soft, hungry tissue. It never truly switches off. So ancient evolution faced a problem. How do you feed a bigger brain without spending your entire day chewing? Richard Wrangham, a biological anthropologist at Harvard, became famous for the cooking hypothesis. A hypothesis is a testable idea, not a proven final answer. Wrangham argued that cooking gave Homo erectus more usable energy from the same foods, helping support smaller teeth, a smaller gut, and a larger brain. The idea is simple. Cooked food pays better, and a brain is expensive to own. Later neuroscientist Susana Herculano Hausel and Karina Fonseca Azevedo studied the energy limits of primate brains. They calculated that raw diets impose hard limits on how many calories primates can gather and chew in a day. A gorilla can become huge, but it spends much of its day eating. A human-like brain on a fully wild raw diet creates a time problem. There are not enough hours. Fire may have helped break that limit. Not by magic, by calories, by softness, by less chewing, by easier digestion. This is why fire can look almost biological. It is not a body part, but once your ancestors depended on it, it acted like an external organ. A stomach outside the body, a warm skin outside the skin, a second sun that could be carried from place to place. But did Homo erectus really control fire? The answer is complicated. Fire leaves fragile clues. Ash blows away. Charcoal breaks down. Open-air camps are disturbed by wind-water animals and time. Archaeologists have to ask a difficult question every time they find burned material. Was this made by humans or by a natural wildfire? One of the most important sites is Wonderwork Cave in South Africa. Researchers such as Francesco Berna and Michael Chazan studied microscopic traces there, including burned bone and ash from plant material. The important part is location. The burning evidence was found deep enough inside the cave that ordinary grass fires outside could not easily explain it. A newer 2026 study at Wonderwork pushed the possible timeline even deeper, suggesting fire use in early Pleistocene layers between about 1.07 and 1.79 million years ago. Early Pleistocene simply means an early part of the Ice Age world, long before modern humans existed. The researchers were careful this does not prove routine cooking, and it does not prove that Homo erectus could create fire from scratch whenever it wanted. But it does suggest something powerful. Early humans were not just running from fire. They may have been bringing it into their living spaces. That is a different kind of mind. At Gesher Beno Yaakov in Israel, archaeologist Nama Goren Inbar and her team found evidence from nearly 790,000 years ago that looks more like repeated fire control. Burned flint wood seeds and plant remains were found in patterns that suggest specific burning spots. In plain language, that means fire was not scattered randomly everywhere. It seems to have been used in certain places again and again. That is close to a hearth. A hearth is a managed fireplace, not just flame, a place, a focus, a center. Now reconstruct the scene. You are Homo erectus near the edge of a lake. The day has been hot. Your group has gathered roots, cracked bones, stripped meat from a carcass, and carried dry branches back to camp. The sun lowers, the air cools. Children move closer to adults. Someone protects a glowing ember carried from an older fire. This ember is precious. It is not decoration. It is survival packed into a coal. Dry grass catches first, then twigs, then thicker wood. Smoke rises, faces appear in orange light. The smell of cooked meat spreads through the group. Your jaw does less work tonight. Your gut will do less work tomorrow. Your body receives more from each bite. And while food softens near the flame, something else happens that does not fossilize easily. People stay awake together. That may sound ordinary now. A family sitting under electric lights, friends talking after dinner, a child listening to a story before sleep. But in deep prehistory, fire may have expanded the social day. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner studied firelight talk among the Jew/Hawanzi hunter-gatherers of southern Africa. Hunter-gatherer does not mean primitive. It means people who live by hunting wild animals and gathering wild plants rather than farming. Wiesner found that daytime talk often focused on practical matters, but night talk around fire shifted towards stories, imagination, emotions, and social bonds. This does not mean Homo erectus told stories like modern people. But it gives you a clue. Fire changes what the night is for. Without fire, darkness pushes bodies into silence and caution. With fire, darkness becomes a room. Faces are visible. Gestures are visible. Children can watch adults. Adults can share warnings. Memories can last longer because someone repeats them. The flame creates time that evolution did not previously offer. A longer evening means more learning, more bonding, more planning, more chances for young brains to absorb the habits of old brains. This is the counterintuitive twist. Fire did not simply help humans conquer nature. Fire made humans more dependent. Once your ancestors began relying on cooked food, warmth, and protected night camps, their bodies could evolve around that new support. Smaller teeth, different guts, bigger brains, more social learning, more need for cooperation. A leopard does not need a campfire. A deer does not need cooked roots. A crocodile does not need stories after sunset. But your ancestors slowly became the animal that needed a shared flame. That dependency was dangerous. Fire has to be fed. It has to be protected from rain. It has to be carried carefully. It can burn children, destroy shelters, and reveal a camp's location. A group that loses fire may lose warmth, safety, and cooked food at the same time. So controlling fire was not one invention. It was a relationship. First approach the burned landscape, then carry embers, then protect flame, then use it in the same places, then cook more often, then build social life around it, then maybe much later learn to make fire reliably from friction sparks or special stones. That slow path matters. Modern people love sudden invention stories. One genius, one discovery, one moment, a spark and history changes. But ancient human evolution usually does not work that way. It works through habits, tiny risks repeated for thousands of generations. A hand reaching toward warmth, a child watching an adult feed a flame, a group returning to the same protected spot. A cooked root giving slightly more energy than a raw one, a brain growing inside a body that can afford it. When you turn on a stove today, you are using a tame descendant of that ancient fire. When you eat bread, soup, rice, roasted vegetables, grilled meat, or cooked beans, your body still benefits from heat doing part of digestion for you. When you sit with people after sunset under lamp screens or kitchen lights, you are still living inside an extended day. Your night is no longer full of predators, but your body remembers the circle. Warmth, light, faces, food, safety. The modern world hides fire inside wires, gas lines, ovens, engines, power plants, and glowing screens. The flame is cleaner now, quieter, often invisible. But the ancient bargain is still there. Energy outside the body changes the body. Light outside the sun changes society. Heat outside the stomach changes the brain. That is why fire was not just a tool Homo erectus picked up. It was a biological leap forward carried in a handful of embers. You began in the dark, listening for teeth beyond the trees. Then the flame appeared, and for the first time the night began to listen to you.